Welcome to the 1 Minute Apologist.
1 Minute Apologist.
If you had 1 minute
Apologia.
to be able to unpack for the audience,
Apologetics seeks to give credible answers to curious questions, to give a defense.
Is the God of the Old Testament the same as the God of the New Testament? Many people wrongly assume the God of the New Testament differs from the God of the Old Testament. They do so because they perceive the God of the Old Testament as a moody and volatile curmudgeon, while perceiving the God of the New Testament as a judge-free, grace-giving, glorified sugar daddy. So does the Bible present a clash of the gods? The good God of the New Testament, and to use Richard Dawkins' phrase, the moral monster and bully of the Old Testament? No. The Bible presents one God who becomes clearer through progressive revelation. God is both gracious and just, and both of these qualities are depicted in the two Testaments. While it is true that one sees the evidence of God's grace more clearly in the New Testament, where His grace culminates at the cross through Jesus Christ, that does not mean that the God of the Old Testament failed to depict grace. From the book of beginnings, God's grace is even clear at the Garden of Eden. Subsequent to Adam and Eve's collapse into sin, God, as the great hound of heaven, pursues them with grace. Throughout the Old Testament, the Bible is littered with the grace of God as God graciously tolerates His own people with their repetitive rebellion. And He even tolerates other nations, as in the case of Nineveh, or as seen through their willingness or His willingness to spare Sodom and Gomorrah for the sake of 10 righteous people. Now, just as God's grace is seen in the Old Testament, His justice is ubiquitous in the New Testament as well. A quick cursory of Romans 1 through 3, or Jesus clearing the temple, or the hardening of the Jewish nation's heart as seen in Romans 11. Those are just a few examples. Not to mention the book of Revelation that clearly lays out God's justice that will take place in the eschaton. In the end, the Bible does not portray a dual-headed God, but it unveils for us the panoply of all of God's grandeur.